First Anglo-Maratha War starts from 1775. What was the what you call why the war started? See, during this time, British they decimated Tipu Sultan. Um, what you called they were having a very good stronghold in 1775. They wanted to make this place Maratha land for territorial expansion. To make this as a policy of ring fence, they were eyeing the territories of Mysore and Maratha to make this as what he called supremacy. In this policy of ring fence, we can see that already Mysore wars started. And Mysore war won, British lost. So British wanted to control Marathas and ensure that Marathas come under control to decimate Mysore. They wanted the control of Marathas to play politics. So in one such instance, you can see that the Marathas are now that regrouping after the big defeat. They are coming to where they are now challenging the Mysore already three times 1764, 1766, 1767. Marathas had attacked, and even in 1771, Marathas attacked Mysore state. So now you can see that the pink color which is there, it is the how slowly who's building the empire. So you can see the pink color. What is there? British have started to slowly encircle. Can you see? They're building buffer states in every region. Particularly, you can see from Bengal, they have the control of entire what you call the Awadh, and till Delhi, they have their dominance. And slowly, you can see that they have built a very formidable. So now, during this period, they kept what subsidiary alliance here after the Battle of Plassey. What is here? Subsidiary alliance. Yes or no? Then we can see here Hyderabad was the first to take. It is under the alliance with British. So you can see that in two places now slowly British is keeping what buffer, and now Travancore is also under the subsidiary alliance. Now, which is the only powers which is now challenging British? So you can see that Mysore during this period 1775 to 82 and the Marathas. So these were the areas where you can see Marathas were in the strategic central part of the country. And British had already got this territory, pink color. How? In the battle of this one already from 1775, they made a treaty with Raghunath Rao. The treaty, they got this empire, this parcel of land. So now you can see Marathas are the only big empire and Mysore is the only big. If Mysore is defeated, then what will happen? This entire South India this entire South India will become what? This will become British. And already we have seen that. But during this time, this was only bone of contention. Now, what will become British later? Now, British during this Anglo-Maratha wars, finally, they'll subjugate the entire territory. So once this entire territory comes, what will happen? So can you see that they have this almost 3/4 of the Indian subcontinent? Now what is left? Only Punjab is left. The Gujarat, Sindh province is left. Balochistan is left. The Khyber Pashtuna region is left. Then you have the Afghan. Then you have Nepal. And finally, the Burma. All these will become the British territory. So Anglo-Maratha War, what were the consequences? What led to the Anglo-Maratha War? You can see that 1775, Nana Fadnavis was very powerful. When Nana Fadnavis was very powerful, he was able to overthrow whom? He was able to overthrow Raghunath Rao, and he installed Savai Madhava Rao. Now, Savai Madhava Rao was a small child toddler. So the real power was Nana Fadnavis. So Nana Fadnavis now versus Raghunath Rao, because Raghunath Rao, he signs a treaty with the British. With this treaty with the British, what happens with the treaty with the British? Now British was finding an opportunity. Whenever there is a dispute in the territory for crown, for throne, who will come? British will enter. So now British enters the Maratha land to war. In the Battle of Talegaon, Maratha Sardars defeat British. Why? Marathas defeat British. Why? Because all the Sardars were united under the leadership of Nana Fadnavis, the powerful Chitpavan Brahmin clan leader. So now the British wanted reinforcement from Bombay. So when it came from reinforcement from Bombay, now Britishers, this war goes for 7 years. And now Marathas were in a very big advantageous position. Who? Marathas. Now Britishers, now when war went for 7 years, what will happen? Britishers started to lose all the money which they had plundered in Bengal and what they have got in other areas. So now British understood that they cannot win the war. So whenever British feel that they are weak, they are in a very low position, they will sign a peace treaty. So now that the deadlock happens, British signs the Treaty of Salbai 1782. According to this treaty, Britishers buy 20 years peace. And now Marathas in a very advantageous position. So you can see that the political situation of the ambition of company to extend their territory towards Maratha territory and the internal conflict of Raghunath Rao as is Nana Fadnavis brought an opportunity for the British to enter and play a significant role. So you can see that in first Anglo-Maratha War, this was the territory what they had when during the time prior to the Battle of 1761, Third Battle of Panipat. But after the Third Battle of Panipat, in 38 years or in 40 years time you can take, can you see how Marathas, the purple color, their territory shrunk, and now who is now encircling them? British. So now you can see that Nana Fadnavis was a real power. So Treaty of Salbai was signed and with a big victory for Marathas, and Britishers, they signed this treaty and they said that we will help each other against our enemies. So did British honor this treaty? They will not honor. So Treaty of Salbai brought what? 20 years peace for the English. And they, in the 20 years, what did British do? They went and consolidated their position. Next 20 years. So 1775, Raghunath Rao conspired against Marathas, and that is how British got an opportunity to enter through a Treaty of Surat, and British attacked Marathas. So Marathas were able to defend themselves. Why? Because of Nana Fadnavis. He was a powerful leader, and they showed unity under the leadership of Maratha leadership under Nana Fadnavis. That is why British could not win over them. So now there was no result in this war. Now it is a victory and advantage over the Mysore was for Marathas, and now British were on the back foot. So that is why they signed a deal of Salbai for 20 years peace. So Raghunath Rao got defeated and he became the pensioner of what? Pensioner of the Peshwa, and he was thrown out of the kingdom. So he goes to Bombay Presidency and he lives there. Bombay Presidency is exclusively British territory. So now what is the terms of Treaty of Salbai? Mutual restitution of conquest, exchange of prisoners of war. All the enemies of Marathas will be enemies of British. All enemies of British will be enemies of Marathas. And if anybody attacks either of them who's attacked, the other party will come and support and help the aggrieved party against the aggressor. So first Anglo-Maratha War 1775 to 82, treaty inconclusive. The war inconclusive ends with Treaty of Salbai. So 1796, Madhav Narayan commits suicide. Why he commits suicide? Because of the high-handedness and the clutches of the de facto ruler, powerful Nana Fadnavis. Now there is no lineage. So since Madhav Rao Narayan did not have any child, so Nana Fadnavis goes and brings back the son of deposed Peshwa, Raghunath Rao, Peshwa's son, Baji Rao II. He was made the new Peshwa. So the real power of Peshwa was who? Nana Fadnavis. So now you can see the politics changes. So Nana Sahib, he dies in 1800. So the second Anglo-Maratha War takes place from 1803 to 1806. Why? You can see that Wellesley becomes the Governor General of India in 1798. His brother Arthur Wellesley is the Commander-in-Chief. And Wellesley was always wanted to safeguard hook or crook. He wanted to safeguard this prized British Empire from the dangers of France. So he wanted a very strong control over all the native kingdoms where the princes were ruling. So he wanted to establish supremacy. So he went very aggressive in the policy of what? Interference into internal affairs in an order to impose the subsidiary alliance or usurp the territory. So Peshwa now in 1802, now internal problem starts. Why? In the Peshwa, what happened? The powerful Maratha leader Nana Fadnavis dies. When Nana Fadnavis dies, now what happens? The Sardars who are there, each one is fighting because all the Maratha Sardars were all what? Kshatriyas. Nana Fadnavis and Peshwas are all Brahmins, Chitpan Brahmins. Now the four clans of what he called the main Maratha Sardars rise. Wellesley wanted to impose subsidiary alliance, but Maratha Sardars refused. So now Wellesley is seeing at a right opportune time, he will come and strike. So you can see who are the Maratha Sardars, who are Kshatriya, Gaikwad of Baroda, Holkar of Indore, Scindia of Gwalior, and Bonsle of Nagpur. These are Kshatriya warlords. And Peshwas of Pune are Brahmin. So these five clans, Maratha Confederacy, now they are in against British. So when Baji Rao II, the last Peshwa, he plays politics. What he does, we can see that he goes and kills Bitu Maharaj. Who is this Bitu Maharaj? Bitu Maharaj is the younger brother of the Holkar, Indore Maratha leader, the ruler of Indore, Maratha Sardar, Jaswant Rao Holkar in 1801. Bitu Maharaj killing angered Jaswant Rao Holkar. So Jaswant Rao Holkar now wanted to take avenge. Now, when he is coming, Peshwa asks Scindia to help. Who is this Scindia of Gwalior? Daulat Rao Scindia, the northern commander. So now Holkar had to face from south Peshwa, from north Daulat Rao Scindia. In the Battle of Hadaspar, Jaswant Rao Holkar gives a devastating blow to Scindia and Peshwa, and he comes and captures Pune. So Scindia under Daulat Rao Scindia loses, and Holkar wins both the wars, both the two-sided war, and he captures Pune and sits on the throne of Peshwa in Shaniwarwada. So Holkar has what all places? Indore and Pune under his control. Now, Baji Ram, once he gets defeated, he runs away from the Maratha land and goes to the British territory. Where is the British territory? He goes to Basin, and there he signs a deal with the British to help. So British, when they'll be very happy whenever there's a succession trouble, internal squabble, they will come and enter. So Treaty of Basin 1802 brings British into the politics of Marathas. 20 years they were waiting, they regrouped, they consolidated. Now, Peshwa was offered subsidiary alliance. He readily accepts. So now British forces are stationed in the Maratha land. And not only that, now rejuvenated Britishers come and attack the other Maratha Sardars. Will the Sardars win? That is what we are going to see. We can see that where is Basin? Basin is above Mumbai. It is called today's Vasai. So subsidiary alliance of 6,000 troops were stationed in the Maratha kingdom. Now all the Maratha Sardars are now finding uneasiness of British coming into the kingdom. So now British, according to the Basin Treaty, they got the territories of Gujarat. In this Gujarat and Surat was also transferred. In the Surat area only you will find the Gujarat, the Gaikwad of Baroda. So Gaikwad of Baroda now subjugates to British. So British got a revenue worth 26 lakhs per month revenue yielding region. So now we can see that in this Treaty of Basin, British said any problem with inside Marathas, Holkar Scindia, Holkar Peshwa, we will come and arbitrate. That means what? Now Panchayat Pano. So Nizam and Marathas, I will come. Gaikwad of Baroda and Peshwa, we will come and we will arbitrate. So slowly British started having an upper hand. So now Peshwa cannot have any foreign relation. He cannot give defense to another person. He cannot employ any European. Slowly British started to put one condition against other condition. Now in Holkar was ruling where? In Pune as well as in Indore. Gaikwad, no offense to British because he subjugated. Now who is there? Bonsley of Nagpur and Scindia. Already Scindia was defeated by Holkar. Daulat Rao Scindia was defeated by Holkar. Now they want to come and fight the British. So what happens? Now Scindias come and attack. And Bonsley come and attack. So Bonsley's attack British. Bonsley of Nagpur got defeated. So they signed the deal called Treaty of Deoghar 1803. In this treaty, all the eastern territories from Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, Puri, Sambalpur, and all the Hirakud Dam, entire area, Mahanadi Basin, comes under the control of British. Now, when Bonsley is defeated, who is the Maratha leader? Alone. Now, Scindias. Now, Scindias also come and attack British. They also defeated. Now, what they signed? Treaty of Surji Arjangan 1803. All the territories between Ganga and Yamuna Doab, every North Indian territory, all Ganga Yamuna Doab comes. Now, who is there left? Holkar and Pune and Indore, and already Peshwa is signed. So now Jaswantrao Holkar comes and fights the British. Jaswantrao Holkar also defeated. So once Jaswantrao Holkar signs, he signed the Treaty of Rajpur Ghat 1805. Now all the territories of the Uttar Pradesh, Bundelkhand region, Chambal River, all comes. Now can you see the entire Maratha land comes under the control of whom? Under the British. So what is remaining? A small principality. Now we can see that second war, slowly Britishers defeat. During this time, all Maratha Sardars were defeated. Big victory for whom? For the English. So George Borlaug succeeds Wellesley. So second Anglo-Maratha War, who won? British won. Treaty of Basin, subsidiary alliance of Peshwa. Treaty of Diagon, 1803. Who gets defeated? Who gets defeated? 1803. Who signs? Bonsley of Nagpur. Then Treaty of Surji Arjangan. Who gets defeated? Scindia of Gwalior. And Treaty of Rajpur Ghat 1805. Who gets defeated? Jaswantrao Holkar of Indore, Pune. Then finally, all these one and this winning treaty. There's one battle called Battle of Assaye, very important Battle of Assaye, where British devastated the Marathas, and who helped? Madras Regiment, Madras Sappers, and Bombay Regiment helps in the Battle of Assaye. Very big victory. Marathas were subjugated. Now, third Anglo-Maratha War, after 15 years, now Marathas are very much, they are under the now great difficulty, that they are realizing that how subsidiary alliance had made them dependent on British. So one last time we'll join together and defeat. So Maratha Sardar and Peshwa come in fighting. Who all comes? This time George Borlaug becomes the Governor General. Wellesley retires. So after this, you can see in after George Borlaug, the most powerful Governor General was Lord Hastings. At least in supremacy, some states were treated as some with respect. In paramountcy, no respect. Everybody are subordinate. Nobody is equal to British. Now British is now supremacy. So Hastings comes and he wants at any cost the entire Maratha land, particularly Peshwa lands. Now you can see slowly Peshwa lands. So now Hastings comes and sees who is the persons who is supporting Peshwas. He found out that there's a group of illegal horsemen who are supporting. These people are called Pindaris. Who are called Pindaris? They are called nothing but Dakus. Dakus is a word from which dacoit came. இந்த தீரன் படத்துல பாக்குறீங்க இல்லையா, அடிச்சு அவங்கதான் டெக்காய்ட்ஸ். அவங்க தான் இந்த இடத்துல இவங்க belong to Hindu and Muslim communities, all castes. So they, whenever there is war, they'll come and join. Whenever there is no war, they'll try to go and plunder. யாருன்னா வழிப்பறி செய்யறது, அங்க கல்யாணத்துக்கு போகும்போது அவங்களுடைய நகைங்கெல்லாம் பறிச்சிருந்து இதான் அவங்க செஞ்சாங்க. Okay, so these were the people who were the strength of the Peshwa and Maratha war, the army. So Lord Hastings ensures that Pindaris are eliminated. This horseman is eliminated. So by 1817, this threat was eliminated. So now, who's alone? Peshwa is alone and few Maratha leaders. So now they all feel that we have to fight the British for the honor of our Maratha pride, Marathi Manu. So now Marathas under Pune, Peshwa Bajirao II, again Bonsley of Nagpur, Holkar of Indore, all joined together. They come and fight the British, and that war is called the War of Third Anglo-Maratha War. In this Third Anglo-Maratha War, Peshwa was decimated. In this, you will have the Battle of Koregaon Bhima in the river Bhima River, where the Mahar caste people, around 800 people with few British officers, devastate, give a deadly blow to Peshwa. That was the last battle. Why? Because people, Dalits and untouchables were decimated because of the hegemony, Brahminical hegemony. They imposed inhuman conditions on the Dalit community, and the Dalit community took this as a pride and they defeated. And the same Dalit community are the ones who gave sacred, what you call decent burial to the slain Sambhaji Bhonsle. But today, history is not recognizing the that untouchables had touched the powerful Kshatriya, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Bhonsle, and they're not recognizing the defeat of Brahmins under the Dalits in the Third Anglo-Maratha War in Bhima-Koregaon battle. So Marathas now were defeated. They signed. Now British, they abolished the Peshwaship, and Peshwa Baji Rao II was deposed to Bittur in Kanpur, and finally all the lands which under Peshwa comes to become what? Bombay Presidency. To satisfy the egos of Marathi Manos, they again revive that old seat of Shivaji Maharaj, Satara, and Shivaji's lineage, Pratap Singh, was made as the king, but he will be under the control of British. With this, you will have total subjugation of Marathas. The policy of ring fence establishes its preeminence, and now paramountcy is established in India with abolishment of Peshwaship. So entire Maratha kingdom becomes the presidency of Bombay. Peshwa is abolished and he is sent to Kanpur, who Peshwa Baji Rao II, and his son Nana Sahib, adopted son, did not get pension, and this Nana Sahib fights in the 1857 revolt in Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so Third Anglo-Mysore Maratha War, 1817 to 1818, won by British. Finally, British establishes their paramountcy. Okay? So this land aggrandizement of policy, which is called Victorian policy, is further goes to another level by Lord Dalhousie. Okay, so let us break for lunch and we'll come back. We'll see the Anglo-Sindh.